Like I say, you never know what I'm going to show in my videos. I normally don't show stuff like this. I'm prepping for painting or anything. I'm going to show you today. I've got this all like that. I've got all this paint on this paint stick, and that's another reason why I use this, so that I can, you know, could I leave the paint stick in here? I guess I could. I guess it wouldn't hurt anything. Maybe I should. Maybe I'll just leave the paint stick in here. But lots of times I'll take it and kind of run it on this and let the paint go back down. And after I put the paint in, I wipe this off and all that. I don't think I'm even going to use my throwaway paintbrush just yet. And you know what? I'm going to leave my paint stick in here. In case I need to mix this paint up again, let's say. Actually, I'll probably have to mix it up again. And what I like to do is I don't like to leave paint cans open like that in case something drops in it, you step on it, whatever. I'll usually put this back on there just to keep the air out of it from drying out. I think I'll do that. Okay, and so I just use this paint edge like that. Get most of the paint off. You're not going to get it all off, but see? And I can leave that over there for the time being and stuff. And I'm not going to pour a whole lot in here. And that's why I like this lip too, because you don't have to worry about it dribbling all down your paint can, you know. And I made sure that was all cleaned out ahead of time, wiped out, so I don't have any dust in there or anything. Now I can just leave that like that. I can leave that little bit because I know I'm going to be dipping some more paint in here, and for the time being I can leave this right like this because I'm not doing a whole lot of painting other than just over here. Okay, so I can leave that set right there. That's all I've got, and I'm going to use that just like that, and I'm going to dip and go from there. Okay, and I'm going to get this done, and I don't know, maybe I'll use this small one. I guess well, you know what, I don't know if I want to use a small one for that. I think I'm going to end up using this small one to do all the painting on my door jambs, and I might want to keep this dry for that. I don't think it really matters, but I'm going to use this one here. Okay, and I'm just going to kind of keep that like that. I got my little paint tray here. And I don't have to load up this whole thing to start this. You can do it however you want to get started. You know, if you've never painted before, make this the first time you paint if you want. Okay. And I'll get this whole top edge done first, all the way. Wherever I think my paint roller cannot hit, okay? Now I can go back over it and make sure anything left over on the edge and on that edge gets taken off. Dip and go, baby. And I think I'm only going to do this once. I don't think I need to put 2 coats on that. You know, I want to get it on there as thick as I think. Okay. And then I'm going to lightly blend in around the edges. And I think I'm going to put a little bit more. There's a lot of little edges in here. I'll make sure I get them all. Okay. Now I'm going to just take off the excess. I know you can do this. This will give you practice with your paintbrush. Okay. Like that. I'll make sure you can see everything I'm doing on this first door, and I think you can, just down to that edge of the first line. Now see, I don't need to carry that other thing around with me. That other paint container, that red one I showed you. You'll surprise yourself the more you paint. Now see, I'm holding this in with my fingers, and even if that was not loose, I'm still going to hold my fingers about right in there. I only got paint up, you know, how far? Not that far, see? That's all you need. You don't have to dip your paint in more than that, okay? I'm hitting around the edges, so that when and then I've got to hit that again right in there, so that when I do my roller, the roller is just going to fit on these right here. You see what I mean? That's why I want to get the edges off of there, like that. I got my grubby paint clothes on, well, my pants anyways. I got a few rips in them, and I thought, I might as well use that rather than my good work jeans. And I always, you know, pretty soon you'll get a paint shirt and your paint pants and stuff. You don't want to mess up too many of your clothes. I mean, you can get the painter pants and shirts and all that kind of stuff if you want. They've got those too. One more look on that. That looks fine. Okay. There. See, I've got that one done up there. Now I'm going to work on this bottom one. I wasn't going to show you this, but anyways, I like using this little plastic deal with the lip. They have different kinds, but I like to use it. That way when you pour, it doesn't fill up on this edge. It doesn't run down the side of your paint can. And plus, if you do pour, you don't want to pour down the front edge of your paint can in case later on you think, hey, because if you do, then you want to wipe that off with your paintbrush. Now all of a sudden you forget what color of your paint that you use. And if it's a special mix, sometimes they have a label on there and stuff. And this one, I don't think they have a label because I got it right off of the shelf. Had them shake it, and this was the whitest interior semi-gloss enamel latex paint that they had, and so that's the color that I'm using. Okay, and it's still in really good shape. This happens to be almost a full can. I don't have any bad little globs of paint in here or anything. So I'm going to mix this up, maybe a couple minutes or so. And you want your paint not to be too runny. You want to get all of your stuff mixed up properly. And if this is old paint, if you're getting all the way down to the bottom, you have to do that. But you may get chunks in your paint and stuff if it's old. And that's why you need those strainers. I don't have a strainer. Next time, next time I go to the store, I'll have to remember to get a paint strainer. Just whenever I need it, I'll have it. Because if I needed it right now, I'd have to kind of pick little bits out of the paint, or if I see something on the door, then I have to pick that off and then do that whole section again and all that kind of stuff. I don't want to really do that. Okay. And so I always, even with this this edge, I still like to keep it on the back side in case I drip anything off of here. It's dripping on the back, and so it doesn't cover up the name of your paint. Okay? And like I said, I got the paint trays, and I just keep reusing them. I don't have to clean them out every single time. This one I happen to use with the white semi-gloss paint before for painting some doors. The last thing I did, and so that's just what I'm going to use. You don't have to throw these away every single time. This thing, look, this thing is probably, I don't know, 4 or 5 years old. Look, it looks almost brand new because I never put paint in there because then I got to clean it out of there. It's way better to get little inserts. See, here's a brand new insert, never used before. This one's when I use some gray for the inside, and here's another one gray on the inside. Here's another, look at that, that's a brand new one too. So I'll put that down here with my brand new ones, and I've got this one. So I'm good to go. Okay, and I'm just gonna pour in there, and I can dip and go from that for my paint. I also have a little container like this. Put my hand on there, put the paint in here, and dip and go, and just hold it there. And if I was doing ceilings, cutting in ceilings and stuff, I would use this. And then the idea is you only put so much paint in. You don't want to put too much because you don't want to dip. When you dip your paint in, you don't want to dip your paint in all the way in your bristles. You only need to get your bristles wet down to about here. No sense getting it way up here. This is where you're painting, not down here. The further you get up to here, then it gets all clogged up with paint. Then it's harder to clean out. And next time you paint, this is all filled up. This is all filled up. This is all filled up. Pretty soon, you don't get this nice and flowy. You know what I mean? And see, I don't know how many times I've used this paintbrush, but I try to be careful not to go about any further than that, and then clean it out the best I can after that. And this is how you hold this with your hand underneath here, just like how he's doing it. You don't want to hold this like that. Your wrist is going to get so sore. You just put it under there, and away you go. This works good, but because I've only got a few places to paint up high, I'm just going to do it right out of my paint tray. Okay, and then I'll use the paint tray. I'll use the same paint tray, and I don't have to put much paint in it. And then I'll use the same paint tray for when I get ready to use my roller. I've got my roller cover here. I don't have any paint in here yet, see? I just put it on there, and then I'm going to dip and go right from here. I'm going to dip a little bit in there, and then I'm going to kind of clean it off and get it nice and even on these ridges on here. That is kind of like your paint grid, and then your paint actually lives from here to about there. You don't have to fill this all the way up or anything like that. You know, a little bit as you go. Hey, if you never painted before, that's okay. Try a project like this, and you know, I think you'd surprise yourself by how well you do when you start getting in there, getting to paint.